fill your roster?
Yeah, there's a lot of young talent out there, up-and-coming talent that people don't know about. And we're going to stack cards that start from the first fight of the night to the main event that are packed with good fights. You're going to see a lot of guys who are, undefeated, fighting each other to work their way up to win the world title. And, my big beef with boxing has always been nobody has ever invested back into the sport. You had all these promoters who take, and never reinvest. Nobody in the history of the sport has invested more money in boxing in such a short amount of time than Turki has. He's very passionate about the sport. And literally none of this could have been done without a guy like this coming into it.
Okay, so let's talk about it, because we've watched the fights. Tyson Fury's had a few. There's been some other marquee fights that have happened over there in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, we got big stages, the big arena sellout. We are all watching from long. How many fights a year are you guys expecting to put on? And will they all be in? How is that? How will it all work out with kind of the logistics of this particular promotion, Dana?
Yeah, now that we've got the deal done, what we do now is to start to build the infrastructure. We got to build a team. Then we got to go out and get a rights deal. Once we get a rights deal, we can literally, whoever we end up doing a deal with, we can, structure this thing to whatever the network needs. We can put on as many fights as they want. And when we started the UFC, they had like 12 contracts, and everybody started to fight each other. You get the best available in the world. They work their way up. We're going to have Olympians. We're going to have guys that are already undefeated out there and have established records. Plus, Turki has a lot of commitments for some of the big fights with some of the guys that are out there right now. So there's a lot of fun, exciting fights to make out there. And you know how I run shows. The live event will all change. It will be much better than anything you've ever seen before. You won't have one fight and then a podcast happens and then another fight happens 45 minutes later. And you see 4 fights in 6 hours.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is going to change when we start running the show.
The in-arena show is obviously going to be something that's special, especially with WWE even being a part of it. UFC and WWE being a part of the production is going to make that a must-be at event in Turkey. So now you have golf. You have boxing matches, you have soccer, you have fighting. Why was boxing the next one that you wanted to focus in on? Why was this the next play, you think, for you and for Saudi Arabia? Just love of sport?
Yes, of course. And with the support of my boss, the Crown Prince, God bless him, he's like to support anything for the young generation. We discovered a chance in the boxing. I like boxing. He gave me the files and he support me a lot. And then with the right people, I think we will success. Behind Dana, very big experience. He have the machine of the TKO and he's bulldozer. He will go and clean the way, and we behind him. I give him yesterday the flag and the headache in the same times. And I said to him, come on, clean the field.
The bulldozer, Dana White. What a nickname. I can't wait for that. Now, speaking of Dana, making these fights, finding these fighters, Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Dana, do you foresee any of your UFC guys wanting to get in the boxing ring now with this relationship? And in the future, will you guys have any events where there will be an octagon next to a boxing ring and we can see this all come together?
Ooh.
No, never. I'm sure there are guys that want to box, but I literally don't want to see any of that. We'll keep the boxers in the boxing and the MMA guys in the MMA, but we'll never have that. Listen, when you go to see a boxing match, Turki has put on some of the best fights that couldn't be made in the last 30 years, in the short time that he's been in the sport. And when you ask him about, why get into boxing, this guy is incredibly passionate about the sport. Much like when me and the Fertittas got involved in the UFC, this is exactly what boxing needed. A guy like this to come in, bring it all together, make the big fights happen. And now, like he said at the beginning of this call, we are aligned in how we feel this needs to be built from the ground up and we're just going to restructure the entire sport of boxing.
Yeah, and it'll be great for the sport of boxing to be all the way back. You know, I know you have your feelings, and obviously you've stated them there about the influencer and celebrity boxing matches, but Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather fighting different people, that was bringing a lot of attention to the sport. I think now if you're able to showcase the greats of the sport, I think you're in a good time to hook them. Don't you think, Dana, to get the sport all the way back?
Well, those fights are always going to exist. They're always going to happen. Whenever you get, you know, a couple of famous guys that want to fight each other that don't necessarily box, that's always going to be there. What we care about is finding the young up-and-coming talent and building these fights up to find out who the best is in each weight class. And there won't be 6 different champions in each weight class. There will be one. You will know who the best heavyweight is, who the best light heavyweight is, who the best, you know what I mean? And you can literally start calling off, if you start asking people, you know, fans of the sport, who's the champion at this weight? Who's the champion this weight? People will actually know.
Okay, now boxing is next. Go ahead.